Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hi guys, welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I'm cold. It's summer, but I'm cold. I'm always cold. So, yeah, my husband's totally in agreement. So sweatshirts and everything in the summertime. But anyway, before we go to ball games, which it seems like that's an every night thing with 12 grandkids, 8 who play ball, we're gonna get supper started a little bit early. So I'm gonna make some smothered pork chops. And in my pan, my frying pan, I have about a half a cup of oil and 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm gonna get those hot. We're gonna have this with some potatoes and a vegetable, so I'm gonna get those ready too. And I have my pork chops that I'm gonna add a spice blend to. And in my ramekin, I have a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of onion powder, and a teaspoon of paprika. I'm just gonna season these well. And then we want to dredge them in our flour. Then we're going to put these in that hot oil and butter mixture and just sear those really well for 3 or 4 minutes per side. The other things you're going to need for this, besides your pork chops, and I have 4 bone-in pork chops. The bone-in just gives you better flavor. But I'm going to put some salt and pepper on it too. And then the only other thing you're going to need is some Worcestershire sauce and some chicken broth. And we're using our home canned chicken broth. So get that melted. And the oil nice and hot. The butter just adds a little extra flavor. And once we sear these for those 3 or 4 minutes per side, we're going to put these on a plate while we make the gravy that's going to smother the pork chops. Maybe when ball's over, we'll get to go on our summer vacation. Not sure where we're going yet. Can't seem to pin my husband down to sitting down and planning it out with me. Yeah, he's grunting to that one too. We had it all planned out that we thought we were going to go to the Grand Canyon and do some of that kind of stuff. And then I had my knee surgery. And I still don't get around real great. So we kind of thought maybe a lot of walking wasn't on the menu for us for vacation. So no Grand Canyon this year. Get my potatoes going too while I'm waiting. Butter is completely melted. Let's get these in the pan. I've seen places that tell you not to salt your pork chops very much, but I'm kind of a fan of salt, so we're gonna put salt and pepper on ours. So we'll get these browned up, and then I will come back and show you how to make the gravy. Okay, our pork chops have seared and they're nice golden brown. So now we're gonna take a little bit of that oil, about 2 or 3 tablespoons, and put a couple of tablespoons of our dredge flour in there and make a roux. Turn my heat down a little bit. And you always want a roux to cook just a couple of minutes. Make sure you don't have a flour taste to your sauce or gravy. Add in our broth. Now, before I added the broth or made the roux, if you wanted to, in that little bit of oil you had left, you could have added some onion and sauteed those for a few minutes. Again, not big onion fans, so I'm not doing that, but I'll get that to thicken up just a little bit. We're going to add about a teaspoon of our Worcestershire sauce. Okay. Now, I want to turn my heat back down and add my pork chops back in. I'm waiting to splash up on myself. That's why I'm trying to cook really slow. Any juices can go back in. And I do want to take some of that gravy and spoon it over the top of my chops to keep them from drying out too much. And we're going to put the lid on this and let it simmer for about 20 minutes or until the pork chops are good and tender. And then we can serve them with our potatoes and vegetables. Clear down to a simmer. Our smothered pork chops are just finishing up. They're getting nice and tender, so we're about ready to serve. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.